G'day and welcome to Inside the Pride, a two-part Lions TV special. Over the next 2 weeks, we go behind closed doors to have a first-hand look at the Brisbane Lions' preparation for the 2013 Premiership season. Here's what's coming up. We join the boys on their training adventure in Arizona, follow the build-up to today's opener against the Bulldogs, and go one-on-one with the inspirational Jonathan Brown. Over the last few years, altitude training has become a big part of an AFL pre-season. So, while you guys were enjoying your Aussie summer, the Lions players got dropped right in the heart of the American winter in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Heading over there, the thoughts were excited to get over there, but we knew it was going to be a very hard few weeks coming up for us, and driving up the mountain and that, and seeing all the beautiful sights that go up around Arizona, and that it was pretty awesome. And then to get there, and it was cold, but you know, we knew what we were in for. I think the hardest part of altitude training was probably our first training session, just adapting to the air, and although it was very light, you really felt like you were gasping for air every single time you took off to do something. So I think the first training session was the hardest. It was like walking out of the Etihad Stadium. It was packed full of seats, and the ground was AstroTurf as well. Inside they had a big gym facility, and we were fortunate enough to watch the local team train there as well, which was pretty exciting. It just came out of absolutely nowhere. Blizzards come sweeping through on top of the mountain. I didn't think I was coming off, to be honest. I thought it was a long way to the bottom.
Is it frost on your moustache?
That was actually frightening at one point. A lot of the boys were wetting themselves a bit, so they were struggling.
Let's go! Let's go!
Not knowing where you're going and things like that with the snowstorm, and you could only see a certain amount in front of you, so that was probably the scariest part.
It's hard work, man.
Cold, man?
Not cold, just cooked.
We're on the backside, as you can see. There's a bit of a blizzard coming through at the moment.
It was a different experience. I don't know if we were scared halfway up. I think Tom Rockcliffe was pretty scared.
This is the coldest I've ever been.
You know, it was a little bit windy, but we probably weren't going to die, but Rocky was getting pretty carried away and wanted to get down as soon as he could, so yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was quite scary, and because you've got no protection obviously at the saddle, the wind's blowing, and it felt like you're going to be blown off the side of the mountain.
There was snow hitting our faces, and it was a very uncomfortable feeling, but we got some shelter and we managed to get out of it alive.
I reckon we get out of here and quickly.
Brent Maloney impressed me over there. I wasn't sure how fit he was coming over here, but seeing him attack his running over there, and he was up the top.
Yeah, it's probably the fittest I've been. You know, in the past I was sort of middle of the pack, sort of around 9 or 10, in the group. But I really pushed myself, and with short recoveries we had to go again and again and again, and that was quite challenging, but it's only going to help me footy.
Probably the most disappointing so far has been Andrew Raines. He really blew up in the running the other day, but he had a fair dinkum crack and blew himself up. So he's a really good runner at sea level, but get him up at altitude and he just can't quite handle the less oxygen up here.
I don't know what he's talking about. He reckons he rolled his ankle, and 1 minute we're looking over and he's icing his ankle on the ice. He actually put up the white flag that day, so I don't know what he's talking about.
I did actually make that session back up when the boys had a rest day, so I went and did the running session, and by the time I finished, I think Rainsy had just finished his run as well 2 days later that day.
At the Brisbane Lions, we love social media. Liking our fan page on Facebook or following @Brisbane Lions on Twitter is a great way to keep up to date with the latest Lions news and access exclusive behind-the-scenes content. You could also win some great prizes by entering one of our online competitions. Follow or like us today, and remember, if you're tweeting about today's game, use the Go Lions hashtag.
Still to come, I get inside the head of Jonathan Brown and we wrap up the NAB Cup campaign. This is Inside the Pride.
You're watching Inside the Pride.
We're deep inside the bowels of the Gabba, and this is no ordinary treadmill. It costs around $100,000, and what it does, it removes all gravity so the players can get some more miles in their legs. No such luck in Arizona though. They had to use some old-fashioned pedal power to get through.
I was a bit of a BMX bandit when I was a kid, so to be out on the mountain bikes or on the bikes again, riding through a picturesque place like Sedona was terrific.
We were going up rock faces and down, and it was absolutely incredible. I didn't even know mountain bikes could do that.
Look, we're down here at Sedona Falls. Dan Merritt's just holding the crew up at the moment. He's already popped a tyre.
Yeah, there's obviously a few stacks.
Cycling along, and out of nowhere these rocks just jumped out in front of me, and I've gone to swerve and gone straight over the handlebars, straight into a cactus, and yeah, it was...
He's flipped over and landed on his head, and I was actually really sort of in shock, and I was like, "Oh, Sawks, are you okay, mate?" Like, I actually thought he's actually down. He got up, started laughing, the tough little bugger. So I thought he was gone at the time.
The boys were all just going, held their breath, and sure enough, I got back up, had a few cactuses in my leg.
Pretty hairy in some places because you're going at high speeds over sharp rocks, but it was really good, and a trip that I'll never forget.
Sitting there watching another professional sport, and the way they go about it was something I'll probably never forget.
I don't know who said it, but no, it was when we got down to Phoenix, and they didn't think, they thought that they couldn't breathe properly because of the thin air, but we were actually down at close to ground level. I think Poking Horn asked were we able to drive to Hawaii, which I don't think is possible.
Yeah, the running sessions we did over there, every one of them was pretty, it was really tough.
That was a really sort of, I suppose, confronting feeling, knowing that you're going to absolutely go flat out for the day and struggle to get back up. But we got back up and got together each night and sort of spoke about how we went about things, and I suppose that helped the group going forward.
Yeah, Ace, outside. Hold, Sawks, hold, give the hands now.
The highlight of my trip was getting up to the top of Mount Humphreys. I was lucky enough to be in the first couple that got to the very top, so yeah, that was a great experience, and it was like a bit of a triumph. So to get to the top and to feel that accomplishment, yeah, it was great.
You look up there and you look up at the mountain and you think, bloody hell, how are we going to get up there? But we got up there twice, and the second time we got to the summit.
To be up there as a group with snow pelting down and things like the wind, and being up there so far away from home was a pretty special moment.
Right, start of the session, boys.
The worst, I would have to say, maybe Tom Rockcliffe early, but he came good.
Tommy Rockcliffe probably struggled. He was good actually.
It was good to get overseas and then come back knowing that we could really put in a solid 3 weeks before Christmas and have that break again. It felt like it really broke up the pre-season, and now we're ready to go for the season proper, which is a good feeling.
While the older players were being tested in Arizona, the Lion Cubs were put through their paces in the sweltering Brisbane heat, and with the senior players away, they made the most of their chance to lead.
Inside the Pride is proudly brought to you by Vero, performance measured, National Storage, handled with care, and Hyundai, new thinking, new possibilities.
Arizona provided the platform for a solid pre-season within the club's headquarters at the Hyundai Centre. The Lions went through the NAB Cup undefeated, winning the grand final against Carlton by 40 points. And with it, their first piece of silverware since the 2003 Premiership. It has senior coach Michael Voss confident heading into the season proper.
Well, the first thing is you've got to come out injury-free, and thankfully we've been able to do that. So touch wood, we hope that run continues. Then you want to be able to see some of your systems in place. Are they up and running? Are the players adapting to it? What sort of progress have we made from the year before? And no doubt some of our ball movement was exceptional, especially in that last game, exceeded my expectations in some way. So they're getting more and more confident with themselves all the time. And then the last thing we want to be able to see is the emergence of some players. And, you know, we played guys in different positions. We still rested them. And like I said, some of those were younger players and some are also more established who have run into some form.
Goes straight for Harlan and he can take a mark. There's no doubt about that, Cornelius. That is a fine leap.
Rich to Hanley to half forward. I saw Jonathan Brown having a rest.
Oh!
With the crumb. Oh, get out of here! That is a handy goal. You talk about timing. How well did he strike that?
We need a lot of players to be able to have career best seasons, really. We're still in a development or growth as a group, so when you're in that phase you expect individuals to get better, but certainly our midfield, we expect more from our midfield now. They're getting stronger.
Moment between the two sides. Rich on the left, gets plenty on it. Inspiring stuff from the Lions.
Just training wise, our ability to be able to back up session to session, the consistency of the way the players were able to really deliver in each session they had, and they also turned up fantastically well. So it was a fair margin from last year to this year. But the edge, the competitor in you says that the season's ahead and this is where we're all judged, and you know the work that we've done will go to waste if we don't look after the first month.
There was good news for the Lions off the field as well, with the club signing two new major partners, insurance giant Vero and National Storage, one of Australia's largest storage companies.
You know, we often talk about brand in our footy club and the way we want to play. And so whenever you've got strong brands, no matter what that looks like and where that's sitting on your jumper, it's pretty important.
Yeah, not to be a stupid Jay Voss has had me in storage for the 4 months before Christmas, so I haven't been around. And so he's seen a lot of guys. Really grow and take control of the group.
The Lions hit the Toowoomba region for their annual community camp, with players heading out to junior clubs and conducting lion-hearted leader sessions, as well as visiting flood-affected centres.
To be able to come here and just see the kids out here kicking the footy when they probably wouldn't have been in the past, it's pretty uplifting and shows we're doing some good work out here. Majority of the community's just dug in and pulled together, and geez, if you could grab an ounce of that spirit, it'll help you a long way on the footy field.
Last week saw one of the biggest events of the year, the Vero three-peat lunch, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the club's famous hat-trick of premierships. The event was a huge success, with players, corporate partners and fans coming together to mark the historic occasion.
For me, it was just the friendships and sharing those special moments. You know, the premierships are obviously very special times in your life.
That chemistry and relationship that the boys had with one another was probably the thing that really drove the success throughout that 4 years.
It's a four-quarter game, and it's not about me, to be honest. I mean, he
really.
Sorry. The funny thing.
I've been waiting
this is an
15
amazing
years
story.
to hear that.
There's nothing like being at the game. Next Saturday, April 6th, the Brisbane Lions take on the Adelaide Crows at the Gabba at 3:40 p.m. It's our first home game of the year, and you can be there with tickets starting at just $25.50 for adults and only $8 for kids. Better still, become a member. 3 game memberships are just $75. It's the roar of the crowd that brings out the best in the players, so get to the Gabba next Saturday and help the Lions devour the Crows. For ticket and membership info, head to lions.com.au.
A decade ago, the best thing about winning 3 premierships was beating the Pies twice in the process. Up next, we talk to the great man, Jay Brown. It's not every day you get the chance to sit down with an absolute superstar, but that's exactly what we did when we caught up with a great one, Jonathan Brown.
Redden pumps it to Brown! And he drives it home.
Brownie, welcome to Inside the Pride. Firstly, let's talk injuries. And you have had a couple, including that shiner today. How much have they had an effect on you in your career?
I don't know. It's probably had an effect on me looks a little bit. I was hoping.
You still look good, mate.
I was hoping for a modelling career post footy, but I've had to, just take stock there and probably look to another career. But I've had a bit of work, but no, I'm still enjoying my footy and had a good spell in the off season this year. Vossi sent me on holidays for a few months, and I've come back fresh and recharged, mate, ready to go.
NAB Cup, we showed a little bit of life going through. How does that set us up for the season?
Well, we didn't specifically sit here and say we're going out to win the NAB Cup, but we know that we want to have good early season form, and we've got sides that were around us on the ladder last year, so we've really got to beat those sides to go the next step, and that's start knocking on the door of the finals.
Who do you think out of the young guys can take a step up this season?
Well, I'm looking forward to Paddy Carneat's one that stands out. You know, he had a good first year, and then last year he played a fair bit in the midfield, and it was unfortunate he wasn't able to break into the senior side, but he's developed another string to his bow, and he's come a long way in the pre-season this year. I think he's going to be a quality midfielder. He used the ball really well, and he's got a bit of height there. I'm looking forward to Clay Beams after his last 4 games last year. Is tremendous how he comes along, and then just the further development of your blokes like Daniel Rich and Tom Rockcliffe, Jack Redden, just to name 3 guys. Mate, how much consideration did you give to stepping down as captain? Well, I thought about it towards the end of last year. I thought I had a conversation with Vossi that it was, it's a younger group, and it might be time for someone else to come through and have that mantle of being captain. I know I've been captain for quite a few years now, and being a stronger personality, I was just hoping that wasn't hampering anyone's growth. I thought that maybe someone getting the captaincy title might help them develop further, but Vossi is still keen for me to continue in that role. And when I thought about it, the co-captaincy model was perfect. I love being captain of the club. Especially game day, I really enjoy leading the boys out and going out and having the title as captain. Mainly the development of the next leader was what my focus was, and for where our group's at. And it's been good. With a few of the boys put their hand up, and Jed will do a fantastic job. I was going to say that Jed had co-captain. Your thoughts? Yeah, I think he'll do a really good job. He's got enormous respect throughout the playing group, and he's a hard player on the field. He prepares himself really well, so he's got all the bases covered. So blokes can really follow his example well. Daniel Rich and Tom Rockcliffe as vice captains? Yeah, well, they're going to be future captains of the club. One of them, or if not both of them. So Richie's obviously got a really high profile, and he's very marketable for the footy club, which is fantastic going forward. And you hope that, I'm sure there'll be a lot of kids with number 10 on their back over the next decade. Tommy Rockcliffe, he really is a natural leader. He's the best and fairest winner as well. So between those 2 guys, we're well versed going forward. So I think it's a good leadership model.
All right, guys, that about wraps up this week's show.
Hey.
Mate, what's going on?
I'm hosting.
Mate, it's called Inside the Pride, not Inside the Former Pride.
Thanks, mate, that hurts. Next week on the show, we finish off our chat with Jonathan Brown, as well as talk to some of our younger players. Our first home game at the Gabba next week, which is going to be fantastic against the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, if you want your tickets, memberships, or all other info, get along to our website, lions.com.au.
I'm Jamie Charman.
And I'm Daniel Merritt.
Thanks for watching.